Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem. This is your brother Khalil Meek, Executive Director for the Muslim Legal Fund of America. Today, I want to invite you into my home to share with you MLFA's vision, to share with you why we believe so strongly in our mission. Today, I want to give you a personal insight into the importance of standing together to enforce Muslim rights in America. I'm going to share with you the legal challenges facing our community, how the legal system works, and what MLFA is doing to protect our rights. I want to encourage you to support MLFA's work, to give generously, to donate whatever you can to a very noble, unique, and critical Muslim charity. For the past 18 years, MLFA has been on the front lines of justice, fighting complex national security cases with courage and excellence, defending the rights of our community, our imams, our leaders, our activists, organizations, or any Muslim individual who has been targeted unfairly by flawed or overzealous government security programs, specifically the National Security Watchlist program, which has grown from roughly 3,000 people prior to 9/11 to over 1.2 million people in 2018. This massive, bloated list is currently affecting hundreds of thousands of innocent Muslims, their lives every day in this country. Now, MLFA has learned how being on this list affects Muslims across America. For example, in immigration, Muslims applying for an adjustment of status that are qualified for the adjustment, instead of receiving the benefit, their immigration paperwork is being delayed, sometimes indefinitely, or it's their green card's being denied, their citizenship is being denied, a visa is being denied, a passport's being denied, just because they're on the list. Or sometimes being on the list, it means that their Muslims' right to travel or to fly are being denied. They're put on excessive screening at airport security checkpoints. It affects international border crossings where they get excessive searches, detentions, often 4, 6, 8 hours of interrogations each time they cross the borders. We're seeing more and more banks closing Muslims' accounts. We're seeing truck drivers with CDL license being denied access to ports of entries at shipping yards, TWIC cards. We're seeing the government deny government employees security clearances because they visit their families overseas. Being on this list, the watch list, is very stigmatizing. It's demoralizing. It's dehumanizing. And what we've learned is that there are no rules, there are no guidelines, there is no oversight for being nominated to a list. Just vague, overly broad, basically secret standards or secret evidence. We've learned that your name can get you on the list. Your ethnicity, your country of origin is enough to put you on the list. Who you know could put you on the list. Who knows you could put you on the list. Where you travel could put you on the list. Any of these can get you nominated to be on a security watch list. And it's basically, this list is built on the premise, and we call it a flawed premise, of guilt by association. It's just who's associated to who's associated to who associated to who. And there's no basis for this. And once you're on the list, the government gives you no meaningful way to challenge your nomination, to be removed, to clear your good name. So, now that's a tough position to be in. And before I go any further, let me state it's not illegal for the government to put 325 million Americans on a watch list. However, if being on this list causes an infringement to your civil rights or liberties, you're entitled to be given a process which you can go through that will alleviate the infringement, called due process of law. And this is where we come in. The Muslim Legal Fund of America takes cases and we sue the government for relief from the infringement. So once we file the suit, then the government has to respond. And they always respond very aggressive at first, claiming, you know, it's a matter of national security. We can't tell you anything about anything. We ask for summary judgment. They try to push you to go away. Now, we don't go away. What we've learned is their tactics. We've learned how the system works. We keep fighting until we get past all their security arguments, and the judge finally schedules a trial for our client, the beneficiary. And at this point, we find out that the government always quits. They never want to go to trial. They take the client off the list to avoid trial. Now, they put you through 6 months, a year, year and a half, 2 years of tedious legal battles. But when it gets to the point of going to trial, the government does not want to risk losing at trial and being told by a court or a judge that they can no longer use their program in a particular fashion or a method or any certain way. So we win. Our client wins. The community wins. Muslims win, one by one by one. Now, our focus is to build a broader case made up of these individual cases so that over time we can challenge the entire security program. And that's why we created a nonprofit law center. Now, this center is dedicated to fighting the injustices resulting from guilt by association. Now, our law center, the senior attorneys have over 150 years of experience in federal litigation. Our senior attorneys have more national security expertise than any law firm in America. The director of our center, Charles Swift, was named one of the top 100 lawyers in the US, one of the brightest legal minds in the nation, and the second leading civil attorney in America. We spent over $4 million in 2019 creating a legal team in Dallas, Texas, strategically focused on dismantling the flawed government security watch list program. In fact, in the last 2 years, 2018 and 2019, we've experienced more success and legal victories than in our first 16 years combined. And this momentum encouraged us to plan for a $5 million budget in 2020 to increase our staffing in immigration, civil, and criminal legal departments. We wanted to hire researchers and investigators to accelerate our evidence-based approach to change the narrative from this flawed premise of guilt by association without any checks or balances to a sound premise of protecting civil liberties, families, and communities from what is a counterproductive and harmful premise to a balanced, fair, and equitable premise. Then COVID-19 hit in March, shutting down the entire country. It was a shock to everyone. Suddenly, MLFA events, programs, fundraising, canceled. Everything in March, April, May, canceled. MLFA spends 6 months every year preparing for Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. We get invited to over 150 masjids across America where we fundraise during Jummah and Taraweeh prayers. And we secure 50%, half of our annual budget during this time. But this year, everything canceled. So MLFA was forced to pivot. And we made some hard sacrifices. We cut our budget. We took inventory. The net resulted in a $2.5 million revised budget for 2020. Less staff, less attorneys, less overhead. Survival mode kicked in. We cut everything possible without breaking promises to our beneficiaries and our community. We still have nearly 36 active federal cases moving through the court systems from New York, from DC, Florida, Detroit, Chicago, Texas, LA, Seattle, literally coast to coast. Our attorneys are working from home. They're filing motions, briefs, having hearings with judges via Skype, Zoom. The only thing that's closed are the jury trials. Dear brothers and sisters, we're doing everything within our power to fight through these unprecedented times, to keep our core senior attorneys intact, to keep 18 years of thought leadership expertise, experience moving forward. We want to keep our promises to the individuals, the families, the institutions that we've made, but we do need your help. We do need your support. MLFA is a grassroots funded organization with over 25,000 individuals who've supported our mission. Over the past 18 years, we have not received grant funding, overseas funding, or government funding. We grew out of the community, the masjids, and the trust we've built together for nearly 2 decades. Today, I'm asking you to keep the momentum going. Let's keep the unity. Let's keep the promises. This Ramadan, the month of abundance, of mercy, of blessings, ajr, and rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the gates of Jannah are open. The hellfire is closed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O you who believe, stand out firmly for justice and be just." The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Every day in which the sun rises, there is a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who establish justice among the people." Justice is the foundation of peace, and it's the core principle of everything we do as Muslims. So today, let's give sadaqah, let's give zakah, let's give a portion or give all of it to protect our freedoms and our liberties. MLFA is tax exempt, MLFA is zakat eligible, and I invite you to invest in our future and your future. Inshallah, together we can and will make a difference. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting MLFA's mission. Assalamu alaikum.